want to ask you guys questions. What motivates you? For example, what motivates you when you learn this subject about management? Anyone want to volunteer? Answer these questions? Hello? Anyone? Thank you. William, can you share your ideas?
Uh, okay, so the motivation that I chose to study this kind of subject, like I want to be, you know, I want to start up in my future, and I want to get a decent job with high salary and get a good life in the future. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else want to share your ideas with us? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, so I'll continue. So we are motivated for many reasons. Maybe because we are threatened to do it, or else we will be punished, or there's a reward that we want to have. As a manager, we have to know how to motivate our employees to make sure that they give all of their effort to the job. First, I'm gonna talk about the concept of motivation. Motivation, the arousal of enthusiasm and persistence to pursue a course of action. Employee motivation affects productivity, and at part of a manager's job is to channel motivation toward the accomplishment of organizational goals. Studies have found that high employee motivation goes hand in hand with high organizational performance and profits. It is the responsibility of managers to find the right combination of motivational techniques and rewards to satisfy employees' needs and simultaneously encourage great work performance. A simple model of human motivation is illustrated in this exhibit. People have needs that translate into an internal tension that motivates specific behaviors with which to fulfill various needs. To the extent that behavior is successful, the person is rewarded because the need is satisfied. The reward is also informs the person that the behavior was appropriate and can be used again in the future. Next is about intrinsic and extrinsic rewards. Intrinsic rewards are the satisfaction that a person receives in the process of performing a particular action. Extrinsic rewards are given by another person. Effective managers want people to receive both extrinsic and intrinsic rewards to meet their needs. Looking at this exhibit, we can see that there are four categories managers can use to motivate their employees. As you can see here, there are negative approaches and positive approaches. You can combine these to motivate your subordinates, but just remember that people can be driven to act by fear. But good managers avoid using the fear tactics to motivate people because this approach damages their employee commitment and performance in the long run. In addition to providing appropriate extrinsic rewards, effective managers try to help people achieve intrinsic rewards from their work. Now, I will show you about the content perspective on motivation. If managers understand employees' need, they can design reward system to meet them and direct employees' energies and priorities toward attaining organizational goals. You have to remember that needs motivate people. At any point in time, people have a variety of needs. These needs translate into an internal drive that motivates specific behaviors in an attempt to fulfill the needs. Maybe you have heard about the hierarchy of needs developed by Abraham Maslow. Hierarchy of needs theory proposes that people are motivated by multiple of needs and that these needs exist in hierarchical order. As illustrated in the exhibit, according to Maslow theory, low order needs take priority. They must be satisfied before higher order needs are activated. The needs are satisfied in sequence Physiological needs come before safety needs. Safety needs come before belongingness needs, and so on. A person desiring physical safety will devote his or her efforts to securing a safer environment and will not be concerned with esteem needs or self-actualization needs. Once the need is satisfied, it declines importance and the next higher needs is activated. Next is ERG theory by Clayton. Clayton proposed a modification of Maslow theory to simplify it and respond to criticisms of its lack of empirical verification. As you can see here, first is existent needs, or the needs for physical well-being. Secondly, relatedness needs, or the need for satisfactory relationship with others. Then the last is growth needs, the needs that focus on the development of human potential and the desire for personal growth and increased the competence. Both theories by Maslow and ERG theory are quite similar. However, Oliver reduced the number of need categories to three and proposed that movement of the hierarchy is more complex, reflecting a fluctuation regression principle. The failure to meet a higher order may need a trigger regression to an already fulfilled lower order need. Now come to the third is Higgs's two factors theory. Higgs believed that two entire separate dimensions contribute to an employee's behavior at work. The first, called hygiene factors, involves the presence or absence of job dissatisfiers, such as working conditions, pay, company policies, and interpersonal relationships. When hygiene factors are poor, work is dissatisfying. However, good hygiene factors simplify remove the dissatisfaction. They do not in themselves cause people to become highly satisfied and motivated at their work. The second set of factors does become high influence job satisfaction. Motivators focus on high-level needs and include achievement, recognition, responsibility, and opportunity for growth. Textbooks believe that when motivators are absent, workers are neutral toward work, but when motivators are present, workers are highly motivated and satisfied. And the last theory is acquired needs developed by David McClellan. Need for achievement, the desire to accomplish something difficult, attain a high standard of success, master complex tasks, or surpass others. Secondly, need for affiliation, the desire to form close personal relationships, avoid conflict, and establish warm friendships. And the lastly, need for power, the desire to influence or control others, and responsible for others and have authority over others. In summary, the content theories focus on people's underlying needs and label those in particular needs that motivate behavior. The hierarchy of needs theory, the ERG theory, the two factors theory, and the acquired needs theory all help managers understand what motivates people. In this way, managers can design work to meet needs and hence elicit appropriate and successful work behaviors. Now, that's the end of my part, and now I hand it over for Yimkun.
Oh, hi, it's Win, and now we come to the process perspective on motivation. So, the process perspective motivation explain how people select behavioral actions to meet their needs and determine whether their choices were successful. And it include three important perspectives. First of all, is goal setting theory, and then equity theory, and the last is expectancy theory. So, let's find out about the concept of goal setting theory. So, why is goal setting even important? Because numerous studies have shown that specific, challenging targets significantly enhance people's motivation and performance level. And in your own life, you probably have set it a specific goal. So, can anybody tell me how they have set a specific everyday goal to get into UEH? Anybody? Oh, I see a hand here. May I ask Trần Kim Nguyên, please?
So to get into UEH every day, my specific goal is to solve about like two math test and also three English test too.
Wow, so that's very specific. Thank you. Anybody else want to share? Okay, so moving on. So this part, we'll take a look at the goal setting theory. Managers can increase motivation and even enhance performance by setting one specific, two challenging goal, and then help people track their progress towards achievement by providing timely feedback. All of these three components combined with goal accepted will bring us to a higher motivation. Now we look at the goal specific. So, goal specificity refers to a degree to which goals are concrete and unambiguous. So, for example, let me ask you one question. Which one is clearer? You either visit one new customer each day, sell $1,000 worth of merchants a week, or you keep in touch with new customer and increase the company's revenue. Which one is clearer? Anybody? Oh, I have Clayton Ngọc Mai here. Can you answer?
Yes, I think the first one is clearer.
Oh yeah, yes. Anybody else want to share? Okay, I completely agree with Ngọc Mai, and I think she's right too. Yeah, so visit one new customer each day and sell $1,000 worth of merchandise a week is more clearer. So the more specific the goal we have, the easier it is for us to complete them. Now we go through the second one is goal difficulty. This might seem like a surprise, but hard goals are more motivating than easy ones. Research indicates that in some situations, people perceive higher goals as easier to attain than lower ones, and even if that's not the case, they still can find those more challenging goals more appealing than the easy one. The third is goal acceptance. Employees have to buy into the goals and be committed to them. This is really important for the long-term good of the company. Having people participate in setting goals is a good way to increase acceptance and commitment. So, what will happen when employees accept goals? Though goal may still be set by management, but when an employee is able to take ownership of that goal, be in agreement or not, that employee will feel more empowered. They feel like they're powerful. They feel like they are completely be able to control of the situation. So they have the abilities to hit the sales targets. And what happens if the employees does not? Then they can feel the anxiety, they can feel the pressure that may not be motivating for success. And when employees are part of the sales goals progress, they instead can feel confidence in themselves and even encouragement and support from their leaders. The last but not least is feedbacks. People get information about how well they are doing, progressing towards the achievement. It is important for management to provide performance feedback on a regular, ongoing basis. However, self-feedback has been found to be an even stronger motivation than external one. Now we're moving on to the second theory, which is equity theory. So, equity theory is an individual's perceptions of how fairly people are treated compared with others. And as a matter of fact, people are motivated to seek social equity in the reward that they received from the performance on average. So a state of equity exists whenever the ratio of one person's outcome to input equals the ratio of another outcome's input. We look at the graph and it's demonstrated really well. So what will happen if we don't have equity? It's simple. We just have inequity, and that is a state where occurs when the input to outcome ratio are out of balance. And as a matter of fact, human brain tends to have inequity. For example, a new inexperienced employee receives the same salary with a person uh, with a high level of education or experience. Then what will be the better employee's reactions? It's simple. He just don't value his job anymore because whether he work hard or not, his wages remain the same as the new and inexperienced. So why do we have to try anymore? Then how do we reduce equity? How do we reduce equity? It's simple. We change our work effort, or we change the outcomes by working less, maybe. Or we can even change perceptions, or we just even leave the job. So now we come to the last theory, expectancy theory. In Vietnamese, it is thuyết kỳ vọng. So, according to Victorian, motivation depends on individuals' expectations about their ability to perform tasks and receive desired reward, concerned with the thinking process that individuals use to achieve rewards. We look at the graph here. Now we're moving on. So the expectancy theory is based on the relationship among the interval efforts plus the individual's performance and the desirability of outcome associated with high performance. We look at the graph. Now, I want you to take notice on the E to P expectancy and the P to O expectancy and the valence. So what is E to P expectancy? E to P expectancy involves determining whether putting effort into task will lead to high performance, and for this expectancy to be high, the individual must have the ability, previous experience, and necessary equipment, tools, and opportunity to perform. So, for example, if a salesperson at the diamond gift shop believes that the increased selling effort will lead to a high personal sale, then we can say that she'll have a high E and P expectancy. However, if that's not the case, then the expectancy will be low, and so will be her motivation. The P2O expectancy involves determining whether successful performance will lead to the desired outcome reward. If we have high P2O expectancy, then we are likely to be more highly motivated. And if the expectancy is low, then we will have lower motivation. So, for example, if that same employee again believes that higher personal sale will lead to a pay increase, we can say that she have a high P2O expectancy. So in this scenario, she can just talk to the manager if the increased sales will help her earn a better raise, and if not, she will be less motivated to work hard. And now we look at valence. Valence is the value of outcome for the individual. If the outcomes that are available from great effort and good performance are not valued by employees, then we can say that she has low motivation. If the outcome have high value, the motivation will be higher. So, for example, if that employee again places a high value on the pay rise, so we can say that her valence is high and she will have a high motivation force. On the other hand, if the money has low valence for that employee, then the overall motivation force will be low. For an employee to be highly motivated, all three factors in the expectancy model must be high. We continue with Wong, please.
So my name is Wang, and now I'll talk about the reinforcement perspective on motivation. First of all, the reinforcement approach to employee motivation sidesteps the issues of employee needs and thinking process described in the content and process theories. Reinforcement theory simply looks at the relationship between behavior and its consequences. It focuses on changing or modifying employees' on a job behavior through the appropriate use of immediate rewards and punishments. Now we move to part 1, direct reinforcement. So behavior modification is the name given to the set of techniques by which reinforcement theory is used to modify human behavior. The law of effect is the basic assumption underlying behavior modification, which states that behavior that is positively reinforced tends to be repeated, and behavior are inhibited. So, for example, Whole Foods give employees a 30% discount on store purchase if they meet certain criteria for healthy habits, such as maintaining low cholesterol and blood pressure or quitting smoking. With health insurance costs on the rise, many companies are searching for ways to reinforce behaviors that create healthier employees. The next part is the 4 reinforcement tools. The 4 reinforcement tools are positive reinforcement, avoidance learning, punishment, and extinction. So first of all, positive reinforcement is the administration of a pleasant and rewarding consequence following a desired behavior. Research shows that positive reinforcement does help motivate desired behaviors. Moreover, non-financial reinforcements such as positive feedback, social recognition, and attention are just as effective as financial incentives. So, for example, a recent study of employees at a fine dining restaurant found that when leaders provided clear task guidelines and clear feedback on how well people were performing the task, motivation and performance improved. Cleaning of tables, chairs, floors increased by 63%, and restocking of site stations increased by 48%. Next is avoidance learning. Avoidance learning is the removal of an unpleasant consequence once a behavior is improved, thereby encouraging and strengthening the desired behavior. Avoidance learning is sometimes called negative reinforcement. The idea is that people will change a specific behavior to avoid the undesired result that the behavior provokes. As a simple example, a supervisor who constantly reminds or nags an employee who is goofing off on the factory floor and stops the nagging when the employee stops goofing off is applying avoidance learning. Therefore, punishment is the imposition of unpleasant outcomes on an employee. Punishment typically occurs following undesirable behavior. An example of punishment was when the board of J.C. Penney cut former CEO Ron Johnson's pay almost 97% after the retailer lost more than $4 billion in sales. The use of punishment in organization is controversial and often criticized because it fails to indicate the correct behavior. However, almost all managers report that they find it necessary to occasionally impose forms of punishment, ranging from verbal reprimands to employee suspensions or firings. The last one is extinction. Extinction is the withholding of a positive reward, whereas with punishment, the supervisor imposes an unpleasant outcome such as reprimand. Extinction involves withholding prize or other positive outcomes. With extinction, undesirable behavior is essentially ignored. The idea is that behavior that is not positively reinforced will gradually disappear. A New York Times reporter wrote a humorous article about how she learned to stop nagging and instead used reinforcement theory to shape her husband's behavior. When her husband did something she liked, she would use positive reinforcement, thanking him or giving him a hug and a kiss. Undesirable behaviors, such as throwing dirty clothes on the floor, on the other hand, were simply ignored, applying the principle of extinction. So that's the end of part 1. Now we move to part 2, social learning theory. Social learning theory is related to the reinforcement perspective, but it proposed that an individual's motivation can result not just from direct experience of rewards and punishments, but also from the person's observations of other people's behavior. First is vicarious learning, or observational learning, occurs when an individual sees others perform certain behaviors and get rewarded for them. For example, young children often learn to behave well in school because they see that well-behaved children get more positive attention from teacher. So managers can enhance an individual's motivation to perform desired behaviors by ensuring that the individual first has a chance to observe the desirable behaviors. Next is accurately perceives the behaviors, remembers the behaviors, has the necessary skills to perform the behaviors. And last one is sees that the behaviors are rewarded by the organization. So to conclude, a key to vicarious motivation is to make sure that the learner knows that the desired behaviors are rewarded. So that's the end of my part. Now we move to the next part.
Now let's move to job design for motivation part. You know that everyone needs to have a job to earn money for supporting their living. A job in an organization is a unit of work that single employee is responsible for performing. A job can be boring, routine, or stimulating. It depends on the environment. But in new management era, before designing a job for employees, manager must know what aspect of job provide motivation, intrinsic rewards that employees really need. I mean, they need to apply motivation to the structure of work for improving productivity and also satisfaction. In general, there are two ways. The first one is job rotation. This way is just move employees from one job to another one, which is more stimulating. And the second one is called job enlargement. A series of small tasks are combined into a broader job. It means employees have to perform more activities. Let me give an example. A salesperson, before he was just responsible for generating sales. Now he is supposed to generate sales but also find customers. Although he has to do more activities, he has more opportunity to show his performance and get promotion if he performs well. Two ways I just mentioned above are toward job enrichment. Its main purpose is to incorporate high-level motivators into work. When the managers see inefficiency in work, then it's time for them to redesigning to increase both experience and productivity of employees. And let me introduce you job characteristic model, which includes four main parts. Look at the picture. We have core job dimension, critical psychological states, personal and work outcomes, and employee growth strength. The first one is core job dimensions. There are totally 5 dimensions. Skill variety is really important to accomplish tasks and to work on new problems every day. Light job is low in variety and job in high position is high in variety. Task identity involves the necessary extent to which a job requires employees to perform from the beginning to the end, and is similar to skill variety. People in high position have more task identity than people in lower position. Task significance, as its name, is the degree of importance and how it impacts on company or consumers. Three of them, skill variety, task identity, and task significance, influence employee psychological state of experience meaningfulness of the work. The fourth one is autonomy. It is worker freedom and self-determination in performing tasks. And it influence experience responsibility for outcomes of work. And feedback is given to employees about their performance to see the outcomes of their effort. It provides workers with knowledge of actual results. 5 job characteristics on the psychological state on lead to high motivation, high quality of performance, and high satisfaction in work. Absence and turnover also decrease significantly. And the last part is employee growth needs strength, which means that people have different needs for growth and development. It's also different in different countries. Intrinsic factors can be highly motivating in rich countries such as US, Europe, countries, China, and it's weaker in poor countries like Nigeria. Okay, so let's talk about innovative ideas for motivating. First of all, to perform well, employees need incentives. The compensation are variable. It can be bonus money or rewards or anything else that create incentives. Variable compensation is a key motivation tool. However, incentives plans can backfire if people reacted too overly aggressive to take the bonus. So incentives should reward the desired behavior. You know that everyone loves and wants power and authority, especially in their job. So what will happen if the managers give their employees more power, information, and rewards? This one would give employees higher motivation for task accomplishment because people can improve their effectiveness and use their creativity. There are 4 elements of empowerment. Number 1, employees receive information about company performance. It means they can access to all financial and operational information. Number 2, employees have knowledge and skill to contribute to company goals. By using training programs, employees can acquire necessary skill for job. Number 3, employees have power to make direct decisions. And number 4, employees are rewarded based on company performance. When people have power in their job, they will enjoy their job, of course. They will feel like they want part of the organization and dedicate their best to the mission of the organization. And it is called employees engagement. High performance and high productivity will happen as long as employees can feel the meaning, the connection to their job, and also the opportunity to learn and grow. So both employee empowerment and engagement focus less on extrinsic rewards, but enable people to achieve intrinsic rewards. To sum up, the manager needs to remember that the goal is to make every normal progress towards meaningful goals, putting the whole progress, even small steps, more and more motivating and stimulating. And it is the end of our presentation.
And this is also the end of our presentation about the chapter 16. And let's take a brief look at the summary that in the part 1 we tell about concept. Motivation is the arousal of enthusiasm and persistent to say a cause of action. Effective managers want people to receive both extrinsic and intrinsic rewards to meet their needs. About the process, The Hierarchy of Needs by Abraham Maslow, the ERG theory by Clayton, Adolpher, Hubbard, two-factor theory, and acquired needs by David. About the content, we got goal setting, got goal specificity, goal challenging, and goal acceptance and feedback. About equity, in equity, we'll list to the way that trend equity, and about expectancy, that E to B expectancy, B to O expectancy, and valence. About the part 4 is about reinforcement. Reinforcement theory is the relationship between behavior and its consequences. Behavior modification is the set of techniques used to modify human behavior. The law of effect is the assumption underlying behavior modification, and when we say fortunes, that a positive reinforcement, avoidance learning, punishment, and extinction. And then we talk about social learning theory, about innovative ideas incorporating high-level motivators, which includes achievement, recognition, opportunities for growth into the work. And the last part is about job design, is creating an environment enables employees to achieve intrinsic rewards. And now we will move to an interesting part of our presentation, a mini game.
So this is our mini game. I want team 1 to pick a number first. Team number 1, are you here?
Number 2, please.
Okay, so number 2. Number 2. Who invented the hierarchy of needs? Please type in the chat box 5 people who's the fattest get our point. Okay, I see Lê Thị Ngọc Mai, Duy Lê Hồng Bảo, Thi Hằng, Hoàng Alihan Turan, and Nguyễn Hậu. Okay, so those 5 people will get our point. Now, please, there is a there is a keyword in our game, and if you guys can guess what the keyword is, you guys will receive our gift. And the keyword is also our gift. So take a guess, please. Now let's move to team 2. Which numbers, please? Number 2. Team 2, please. Team 2. Team 2, is there anybody in team 2? Is there anybody in team 2?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Can you pick a number?
Number 5.
Okay, number 5. What occurs when the input to outcome ratios are out of balance? What occurs? Ooh. Ooh, I see 2 people with answer. Is inequity, and you guys are correct. So now Mai, Yang, Thi, and Hậu will have each person each point. Bạn Như ơi, bật cái đáp án này với bạn Như. Câu 5 bạn Như ơi. Okay, and team 3, please. Team 3.
Okay, we choose number 8.
Number 8, please. Number 8. Oh, we don't have number 8. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry. Okay, so can you choose number 4 instead?
Okay, great. Number 4. Okay. Let's go. Managers incorporate high-level motivators into work to create what? Ooh, a lot of people commented. Still on the lead, and Yang. Now we have Trần Minh Thư and Thi and Trần Kim Nguyên. Yeah, those 5 people. Hey, Miu, please review. Yes. Is Như? trời. It's job enrichment. Okay, now continue, please. Team 4, I want you guys to pick a number.
I will pick number 1, please.
Yeah, number 1. Okay, no, number 1, please. The concept, the arousal of enthusiasm and persistence to pursue a course of action, is the concept of. Ooh, my with my team. Okay, great. And we have too late. We have number 6 too late. Okay. Will you please review the answer? And the answer is motivation. Yay. We want to pick a random team, so team 8, please. You guys pick a number.
Can we pick the number 7, please?
Okay, the number 7. Can everybody guess the keyword? Ooh, isn't that?
Can I guess the keyword?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's nothing, right?
Yeah, you get the gift. It's nothing. Thank you. We love you very much. Okay. Nice. Ooh, it's redesigned. We only have 4 people commented, and those 4 people will receive a point. Yay! That's it. That's nothing for today. And that's pretty much the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for listening as well as participated in our games. And now, if you guys have any questions, please ask us.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation, Team 7. Yeah. And now it's time for the last to discuss about this chapter. So you can ask questions or you can share your ideas about the chapter. First, I want you to correct with the slide summary of Team 7. You can show your screen, share your list, and with slide summary. So I will show you the correct to correct your slide. Team 7. Team 7, you share your screen. Yeah, with summary. Show you about the process approach and content approach. You must change. The content approach consists of 4 theories about the hierarchy of needs of Maslow and EIG of Adler as belong to the content approach. And the process approach consists of 3 theories. That's goal setting, equity, and efficiency theory. You maybe has the problem with the two. Okay, just about this about your summary. And about last, can you ask question about this chapter? Okay, thank you, Quỳnh Như. You can stop your share, and I will share my screen. Okay, there are some key points I want to emphasize on this chapter. First, about the concept of motivation. Who can give me the difference between the motivated person and the others? What is the difference? What is the difference between the motivated person and the others? Mr. Duy.
Yes, teacher. I think a motivated person is somebody who's more willing to work hard and more willing to do all the work to have some gain.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Duy. Yes, when the motivated person, for example, they work harder and they try to work harder with the to get the highest result compared with the others. For example, when you start studying this subject, so if you are motivated, you will devote your more time to study, to read, and to work with this subject than the others. So in the company, in the workplace, employees with motivation, so they can work harder. They can try to pay more patient and try to work to get the higher results. And then the standards or the objective and the goals of the organization. So that's you can remember it shows that motivation that makes students to make people to work harder to get better results. And about the second, and you see on the basis of motivation is the needs of people. The needs. Because we on people have their needs. For example, the monetary, high position, and recognition, for example, and the need translates to the behaviors because you want to get regarded, and the regards satisfy the needs. So on the basic and all this motivation theories based on the needs of the people. And about this for regardless for robot for type of regardless, who can give me an example of a negative extinction and a negative approach? Who can give me an example? Sundar.
Oh yeah, I think a way that we can apply a negative approach for extrinsic is punish in the salary of an employee, or for example, you can reduce the salary of him or her. And the other one is you can suspend their work. Yeah, you ban them from come to the workplace, or if they are working in your project, you can eliminate them from the project and just reduce their salary. Yeah, as a negative approach.
Yeah, thank you, Sundar. That's negative approach. And we just it is that because come from the others, come from to employees, and negative that may be about the punishment of rate. For example, cut down salary, for example. Thank you, Sundar. And who else can guess can give us an example of intrinsic negative approach? I think Hoàng Alihan to that.
Yes, so I think instinctive approach can be like the manager can use heavy words to talk with their employee if their employee doesn't do the work well. Like they can shout, they can like dùng từ ngữ nặng lời thôi, use heavy word.
Yeah, heavy word. Thank you, Hoàng Alihan. That's you see intrinsic because that come from the process of doing the work during the your job. For example, based about negative, about the fear. So, for example, you fear about you can lose your job if you work if you don't work harder. For example, so because you worry about lost your job, so you must to try your best to work. For example, because and maybe for example, for when you studying, yes, some subject at first you hear about that this subject is very difficult and you may fail the subject, the examination, may you fail if you don't work hard, don't study hard with this subject. For example, you worry about you can fail the exam, so you must study harder. That's about you. That's yourself. You feel feeling about that. You worry about you doubt about the work. So you must pay push more attention, more and more time to do this job, this work. And about I think number 3 easy for you. And number 4, who can give me an example of the intrinsic and a positive approach? Okay, I hear who Tuấn Lê.
Okay, so I think that an example of positive approach of intrinsic is that intrinsic is that when you work in a company and then you feel that you are more knowledgeable and you feel more comfortable about what you are doing, and then it is a, a positive approach to intrinsic.
Yeah, thank you. It's exactly right. There's many example for this because you like your job, you feel interesting when you doing your job, for example, or you feel that you can do this very meaningful work, or you think that when you work with that job, you can your ability, you can promote develop your ability, or develop your professional job, for example. So give you the motivation to work harder and work better. Thank you, Tuấn Lê. That's about this, the regards of this, to give the motivator. And we go to there are three approach to allow of the motivation theory. That's about content theory and process theory and reinforcement theory. And about the content theory. There are 4 theories about the hierarchy of needs of Maslow, and Yachi theory of Underford, and 2-factor approach of Herzberg, and acquired needs of let's see, of acquired needs. And who tell me the limitation of the Maslow hierarchy of needs? What is the limitation of this theory? Okay, I set the priority for Bảo Duy.
I think that the Maslow consider only like a narrow segment about the human population, and the hierarchy of needs is self-esteem and security. So it has diverse classifications in the culture. So it is very difficult for the researchers to measure the needs and to generalize them like across the human populations. And the model, I think, is too complicated and too unsophisticated. Like it goes for the same product and the service, and the theory is lack of uh, the rank ordering of needs, I think.
Yeah, thank you, bạn G. You mean that it's this this can to we to this it's very general. And Sunda, can you share your ideas?
I think it's still not complicated enough. Like, in my opinion, it lacks of a cultural difference in of each individual, because that is also really important, because people from different cultures can have different needs. So yeah, for example, in I don't know for sure, but definitely culture plays an important role in this hierarchy of needs.
Thank you, Sunda. Okay, thank you for on your question, your answers. So about this the hierarchy of needs of Maslow. Um, at first, Maslow divide the needs of people into 5 categories, and we say about the hierarchy. Just the lowest, the lowest is about the physiological needs, and next to safety needs and belonging needs and self-esteem needs, and and self-actualization needs. So based on Maslow theory, the lower order needs take priority. In that, we must be satisfied before higher order needs activate. So as first, we just focus on the lowest needs, about the physiological needs, and after we are satisfied the needs, we just think about this higher the safety needs, and after the safety needs are satisfied, so that's time we think to the belonging needs. That's so there's you can see the direction of certify or scare people scared about you. They need just come to bottom up. That's about one key point about this Maslow hierarchy of needs. And the second key point from this theories that Maslow says that if the needs has been satisfied, so we cannot based on that need to motivate employees. For example, if you are satisfied or the which of the physiological needs, so you will and motivate policy give you for example the salary, for example, so you don't care, and it's not be a motivator for you, so you just care about the higher and higher order of needs of your needs. So that's this is the limitation of Maslow theory. Limitation in fact, people they they can want to certify more. Want to certify more. If you, for example, if you are rich, you also like money, for example. So you can the people and at the same time people might care all about on those, but not only one specific of this. That about the limits of the limitation of the hierarchy of needs of Maslow. But this is the theory of Maslow, very famous, well known, because this Maslow is the first people who gave the theory about the needs, and this, he classify and give many kind of needs of people. You remember in chapter 2. Chapter 2, we study about the logical perspective. Logical perspective. And Taylor just focus on the higher, the lowest needs of the employees or worker, about this the physical needs, about because Taylor believes that the worker, they just work for the salary. But Maslow he states that the worker has many kind of needs, not only the salary, the needs of the salary, or the physical needs. And this theory based on Maslow gave state this theory in 1943. He first people he gave this motivation theory about the hierarchy of needs. And who can give the difference between the Maslow hierarchy needs and the EIG of Anderfer, and the EIG theory of Anderfer. Who can give me the difference between two theories? It might be very difficult for you. Why I asked you that question? Because EIG theory of Anderfer, he modified the Maslow theories. Who can give me the answer of the question? Team 7. One member of Team 7. Who resent this part? I remember maybe Mr. Khang Thich. you understand this part? So
Yes.
can you give me the answer of the question?
Actually, I don't really know what is
Yeah.
difference. Maybe the ERG is the shortest version of the shorter version of the hierarchy of Maslow, and maybe the ERG have the frustration progress. Like, I did not really name it right. The frustration regression principle. I don't know. Is the difference between those theory?
Yeah, thank you. And I will share you the reason and the difference. You see, when Maslow about the Maslow hierarchy of needs, there are some redesign about Maslow theory, just about the limitation I just said you. And so Maslow, so Alpha professor of Harvard Business Harvard University, and he modified the Maslow theories. There are two difference to Alpha modify to improve the theories of Maslow. The first Alpha divides the needs of people into three categories instead of 5 categories of Maslow. So you can understand really about when you see this picture. So Alpha yield the consistent needs. That's consist of the safety and security and physiological needs of Maslow. He combined two needs into the consistent needs. And about the related needs. So Alpha combine the love and belonging and a part of self-esteem needs of Maslow combined to the related need. And the roles combine the part of self-esteem and the self-actualization needs of Maslow. So he combine the 5 needs of Maslow. He combined into 3 needs about existing, related needs, and growth. So EIG, that's just about the abbreviation of existing and related needs and growth. So EIG. That's the that's just about one difference. One difference of compare of EIG theory compared to Maslow theory. The second difference, secondly about Alpha also agree with Maslow that people they have tend to set priority to satisfy the needs from the bottom to top. So at first, people they want to satisfy the existing needs, and after that, the related needs and growth. But Alpha they state the frustration relation principle. This is different. This is the different. Maslow, according to Maslow theory, those people they will go check to from bottom to top. But Alpha they give the frustration relation principle that the people they tend to set priority to also set priority with the lower need, but and that come to the top. But but for some reasons that people they cannot satisfy the higher needs, they will go back to satisfy more the lower needs, satisfy more with the lower needs. For example, you want to promote. For example, you want to promote to be the director of company, director of the company. But maybe there are many people. So finally, you cannot you cannot be the director. So maybe about the highest needs, but you cannot be satisfied. So you think maybe you just heard to, okay, I'm not director, that's okay, but I will work and I will get more money, many money, so I can better than the director. He a director, but he has but I has much money than him. That's okay. For example, so you come back to satisfy the lower needs more. That's about the meaning of the fluctuation direction principle. Fail to meet the higher order needs, I call the relation to an already satisfied lower. So there are three differences between the Maslow hierarchy of needs and the EIG theory of Clayton and Leffer. Okay, and I want to face that. Okay, I will tell you the key point of Husband to Pastor theory. Who can tell me when we apply the Husband to Pastor theory in the workplace or workplace environment in a company? So about the motivation policy of the company. So what based on the Husband to factor theory? What's the to make your employee to motivate your employee, you must focus on what policy, on the policy, on what policy to motivate your employee based on the Husband to factor theory. And what policy of motivation you must satisfy, or what the needs you must satisfy your employees.
Could you please repeat the question?
Okay. So I mean that's when we apply this Husband to factor theory to a company or the workplace environment. So about the motivation theory policy of a company. So you might to make your employee work harder and better. What policy you focus on? You should focus on what policy of motivation the company should focus on. Okay, you can see, you can understand really about husband to factor by on this slide. This slide. As first, I want to make clear the difference between the high chain factor and the motivating factor. What are the difference? What is the difference between two factors? Who can give me the difference with the high chain factor and the motivating factor? Okay, Văn Nguyễn. This one.
I guess the difference between motivating and hygiene is that the motivating is the feeling of the employee themselves, and the hygiene factors is the reward of the company giving to their employee.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Văn. And
it's me, Sundak.
Yeah, Sundak. Okay.
Yeah. So I think the basic difference between these two factors is hygiene factors are about the physical, something like extrinsic factors. Yeah, but motivating factors are something like the inside, the intrinsic factor. So I think the one that make employees work harder will be the motivating factors. We should apply this to make them work better and harder in the company.
Yeah, thank you, Sundat. Exactly right. Your answer. The difference between the hygiene factor and motivating factor, that's when the hygiene factor are satisfied. So the employee they feel that's normal. And if you don't satisfy, if you don't satisfy, if you probably does not give the policy or to satisfy the hygiene factor, so the company will feel dissatisfaction. They can hygiene factor removed, so that's the more dissatisfaction. But the company they don't feel motivated to work. That's about the hygiene factor. Just about that. So that means that the company must satisfy the hygiene factor for employees. If they don't give the policy to satisfy the hygiene factor for employee, they will fulfill dissatisfaction. So they work lower than the ability, lower than the ability, lower than the standards of requirement of work. So maybe they can exit or exit the job, exit the company. They can. So that's about the hygiene. And the more motivating factor about if the company they give the motivating factor for the employee, they will work highly motivated, and they will feel satisfied with their job, with their work, so they can work harder and do better research for the company. So I agree with Sundar that if the company want to give the motivation to the employee, they must focus on the motivating factor. So hygiene factor just you to keep the employee they don't feel dissatisfaction. Yeah. So that's about this. So you can it may be difficult for you to see this picture to understand about the Herzberg to factor theory. But if you see this picture, you can the hygiene factor. What are hygiene factor? So the factor that satisfy the three lows needs of the Maslow. Factor that satisfy the physical needs. Factor that satisfy the safety needs, and the factor that satisfy the love and belonging needs. So that's the hygiene factor. And what are the motivating factor? And the factor satisfies the two highest needs of Maslow hierarchy needs theory. That's about factor to satisfy the self-esteem needs and the self-actualization needs of people. That's about that is motivating factor. So there are some key points of Herzberg to factor theory. And about the last about the requirements needs of Macmillan. So you can add some to change the environment. So you can answer the test, the mini test. So to know that you focus on what kind of needs for achievement, or needs for amplification, and need for power. What you focus, what you turn your attention to about what kind of needs. So you can do this mini test. For each question, you can just answer A, B, or C. You can choose one of three options. Have you finished the two questions? So let's move on to the next slide. And move on to the next question. And move on to make the last question.
Can you go back to the fifth and the sixth? Okay, thank you.
Last question.
No, the
Fifth,
5, 6.
fifth and sixth, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, is there any question you want to review?
No, sir.
Thank you. So we go to the teacher. Oh, you can count your answer. So up with the option 8, it's about your needs of achievement. And B, needs for affiliation. And C, needs for power. So what needs you had you get the highest score. So that means that you tend to have needs more about you more about that needs. When
Oh, I have two. I mean the same. Like I have 3C and 3B.
Okay, I see what you mean. So so maybe 3C and 3B. So your needs may be about half of affiliation and needs for power. You also have needs for affiliation and needs for power. First about about this theory, this about this theory. One more thing I want to remind you that based on Davis Magdalene research, he found that humans need learn during the early life experience. For example, about the childhood of the human. So that's the they can what needs they focus on, maybe for example about achievement, about affiliation of power. That's maybe influenced by the life early life or the childhood experience of people. For example, a child and they live in a family. That's the parent give the small autonomy, more autonomy. For example, for more autonomy, so they can so when they may have some focus on the achievement needs for achievement. And a child when they in the child a human a man and childhood, they live in a family with a very good relationship between the member of the family. So they may for help this for the affiliation. And a child when they live in a family and they on member of the family, they support many for him, for example, for him or for her. So they can ask at the children, at the child is also to influence on the member of family to satisfy his needs, his or her needs. So when they and he will tend to care more about the need of power or power when. So people which need of achievement, what type of work they can do well. Who can give me what kind of work with the people for give of achievement and needs for affiliation and needs for power.
It's me, Sundak.
Yeah.
The need for achievement, I think there's many examples, such as managers or the CEO of the company or something like that. And the need for affiliation, I think this will apply for the people who are in the human resource department. And I think the need for power is for some people who are in the military, such as the general of the military. They have to have the power, absolute power to order the soldiers, something like that.
Yeah, thank you. Very silent, Suna. So people with high needs of achievement are typically the entrepreneurs, and people with high needs of affiliation, success with work with the work related to people, for example, human resource management, and high need of power. There is success with the top people in the organizational hierarchy, for example, military, police, government. That's the success with in that field. And about the second perspective on motivation, that's about process perspective. Goal setting theory and equity theory and expectancy theory. About the setting theory, we has discussed about this meaning when we study the chapter 7. We discuss about the requirement or the standards of goals, better or the good goals, efficiency goals in chapter 7. So I think you know clearly about this theory. So I just want to emphasize you that if you set up a good efficient goals, that you can give the motivation to your employees to do the work. And about the second, that equity theory of Stacy Adam. The meaning of this theory is about you see equity just based on the perceived equity, but about the thinking of the employees. You cannot push the output and the input on the to measure is equal or not, but just based on the thinking of employee, teaching that's equal or not. So you must match in a normal frequency. People usually think that what they do is big, but then what they get from they gain from the company is small. That's about a normal. So to make employee to think equity. So the company must find out the way to make the employee to think that they maybe about what they gain from the company is very valuable, which we done. So it's based on the needs of people. For example, if I like money, I must align. So the company must give me the rewards by money. But you like to famous, you want to famous, so the company give you the recognition, put your name on the internet, on the website, so you on the work can know that you are very best, very good employee, for example. So the reward must be on the needs of the employee. So that's make the employee feel that's very value for them. Usually in my research and many other research on the when we ask some employees of company about how they care, how they feel equity, the salary, that's the equity for the efforts. For example, 90% of employees says that they feel inequity. 90% feel inequity because they think that what they do is very big, but the salary or the goal they get from the company is small. That's about us. Just about us. Maybe psychology, say so.
So, sir,
yeah.
Sir. So,
yep.
How do we minimize that feeling of employees? Is there a way to minimize that feeling?
Yeah, thank you for your question, Suna. And to minimize that feeling of employee, that you must know what exactly the employee want. If you give the policy that satisfy exactly the needs of the employee, so they will feel that's value for them. For example, I just give example. If I like money very much, so the company must set a policy of the goals for me by give me money when I do well my work, give me money. But you want to famous, you don't like money, but you want to be a famous person. So maybe the company when you do well your work, so the company may put your name on the website of the company, or maybe write put your name on the paper, for example, on television. So you feel it's very happy with that's the goal. So that's the way to make to minimize the feeling of inequity of the employees.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's about the Expectancy theory. And about the Expectancy theory of Victorian. So, according to Victorian Expectancy theory, as the motivation of people depend on the three expectation. Just about E to P, P to O, and Valence. So, based on this model, you see if just one of three expectation that's is low, so the motivation is low. Is low. So the reference, so the manager must make the employee to feel on three expectation high, with higher level. For example, E to P must high level, and P to O also must be the high level, and the balance also high level. So, who can tell me how the manager might make the employee to feel the E to P with high level? How what technique, or you can propose, you can give us some technique of the manager to make the employee feel that this value is higher. This is about E, that's effort, and P performance. This means that the employee they must feel that if they put more effort, then they can get the performance or the goals of the job. So I think in the manager of company must make employee believe that if they push, if they work hard, if they push, they try their best, they can get the goals. The employee must believe you, the manager can make the employee must believe they can success when if they try pay more efforts on put the efforts on the work. For example, about Vietnamese football team. For example, before we usually we fail when we play with Thailand team football team. For example, because our football player when we play with Thailand football player, they feel they worry and they think they fail if you, for example. So if you don't believe the expect you don't believe about the success, so you will not try your best to work to do. And the second about the P2O, that's the question the email will test if I can finish my job, my work, I can get the rewards or not. So to make this expectancy at a high level, the company they must set the really policy of regard of give regard for employees. Regard. So also the really that's system that's recognize the performance, may measure the performance of the employees. So that mean why the goal is specific. That's give motivation for employees, because when the goal is specific and measurable, so it's very easy for the company to know the employee what level the employee they do good on us with the job. So you can give the goal based on the specific and measurable goals. The company can give the regardless. And also the balance, also the same with equity theory. The company must manager must know what kind of regards employee they like best. So they must give the right, the right regards for employees. So they may feel this more attractive with the regards. Okay, and I think the reinforcement may be easy for you. So I go past to reinforcement and go to the job design for motivation. You see, the good job design can give motivation for employees. I think on this concept, you know, rotation, enlargement, and enrichment, and you know. First, I just only want to explain some thing about the core characteristics model of Jobs dimension. They are very important for or the manager to design the job for employees, for the employees. You also study about the division of work. Division of work in chapter 2. Division of work. And usually, company they want to divide the work into small job. So the company, so the employee they can work with that's some higher efficiency. Division of work, specialized employee really small with the same effort. Wow, in chapter 2. But in fact, if the job can divide very small, so employee they can feel boring. They can feel boring when they do the job. Job they must use if they use very few skill. For example, when you study when you tomorrow in future you after you graduate from the university, you work for a very big company, and in that company your duty just about you work in the sales department of that company. So your duty just about to maybe about to manage the contract, of the company. So all day you just input the information from the contract to the computer, and you manage the time and the process of the contract. For example, it's very simple for you. So when you work periods of time, so you will feel very boring. Instead, so you want to change or to turn over to the other job. So much skill variety, and about task identity also very important. That's about the feeling about how important of your job in the company. So it's very important. For example, maybe and about the task identity. Sorry about task significant. That's about how important of your job. First, task identity is about the job description. About the job description, it's really job description is where it may give the motivation for employees. And about the autonomy, that's you can empower for your employees. They can make plan and control the land, and they plan, and it has duty, high responsibility for the research, for example. So that's make really feel the responsibility for doing the job. So it's also motivates the employees. And about the feedback, we also talk about this factor in the goal setting theory. So it's the that's the design job design also very important to give the motivation to motivate the employees in the company. And the last content of this chapter about the new motivational compensation goal range you can read in slide and in the textbook. So to sum up this chapter, we just talk about the concept of the motivation, and we study about the theory of the motivation theories. There are three perspectives. The first about the content perspective, with four theory. That's about the Maslow hierarchy of needs theory, and the EIG theory of Clayton and Adolph, and the third is about the Herzberg two-factor theory, and the fourth in this perspective about the requirement needs of David Malayland. Acquired list of David Malayland. And the second about the process perspective. There are three theories. First about the setting goals theory, and the second about the equity theory, and the third is about the expectancy theory. And the third perspective about the reinforcement. And we also use the job design for the give motivation to your employees, and also you can use some innovative compensation to give motivation to your employees. So that's about this chapter. Chapter 16, motivating employees. Is there any question about the chapter?
Thầy ơi, cho nhóm 9 tụi em hôm nay thuyết trình luôn không thầy? Tại vì bài của tụi em dài quá, mà tụi em sợ là ngày mai thuyết trình chung với nhóm bạn nữa thì mấy bạn bị mệt, có mấy bạn thi không được.
Ok.